Hello, love. Welcome back or welcome to What I Am Seeing. In today's session, we are in the second part of our 4 series of the cycles of transformation. We've already completed our first cycle, first phase, which is disruption. And now today, we're going to be focusing on, and I'm going to be loving and supporting you through phase 2, which is liminality, or the void. I first learned about the cycles of transformation through my teacher, Karen Curry Parker, and probably back in 2018, 2019. And having this awareness and understanding has helped me tremendously throughout the cycles of transformation in my own life. And she actually teaches there's 3 phases, but based off of my own lived experiences, I've added a 4th phase. So she teaches there is phase 1, which is disruption. Phase 2, liminality or the void, and phase 3, expansion. But based off of my own experience, I've added a phase in between phase 2 and 3. So it's actually, for me, my experience has been disruption, the void, emergence, and then expansion. So there's a space of emergence between the void and between that expansion. So in today's session, again, I'm going to be loving and supporting you through the void. Swimming through the void so that you don't have to feel like you're in this space all by yourself. We all go through these phases, these stages of transformation. It's part of our human experience. There's no escaping that. Our soul calls us forward to grow and to evolve and to learn. And the things that we experience, like in these cycles of transformation, are actually assisting us to make sure that we progress and move along on our journey here. That we don't stay stuck and stagnant and blocked. That we do have the opportunity to live out our fullest and highest potential while we're here on the planet in form. So there's no escaping this, and we all go through it. We have our crackly candle today. It's melon blossom. This coastal sunset and Palo Santo, but we haven't gotten to all I can smell is the melon, which smells so good. Like fresh summer melon. So we haven't gotten to the coastal sunset or the Palo Santo yet. So our crackly candle today is just going to be crackling in the background. Helping us through the void as this fire element reminds us to release and let go of what's no longer serving us, to be transmuted and transformed through the fire, through the flame, to alchemize our experiences and the things that we go through, again, for our highest good and highest evolution. So these cycles of transformation, these phases are not linear. Even though we list them out as 1, 2, 3, 4, or we put them in a list, they're not linear, and we can ebb and flow and dance between them very easily and fluidly. So that's why they're here in this spiral. If you picture this spiral like a funnel, like a tunnel, and every time we grow and evolve, we're on the spiral in another level of disruption, void, emergence, expansion, and it just repeats. And we can dance from one to the next and flow from one to the next. So like I said, having the conscious awareness of these phases and stages has tremendously helped me to not only assess where I'm at currently in my life, but it also gives you a sense of empowerment to know that you understand what's happening and that, yes, there is so much out of our control, but there is so much in our control as well. And when you have the knowledge and you have the understanding and you have the language to explain and to express what it is that you're going through, it takes some of the pressure, the fear, the worry, the anxiety out of the situation and allows us to be present and fully feel and fully show up in the cycle, in the season, to not want to try to force it or push past it or ignore it, but to lean into it, knowing that it is for your higher good and something beautiful will be birthed from it, that something is on the other side, that it's temporary, just like everything here is. So in this void stage, this liminality, you've had this major disruption in your life and you can't go back to the way things were because it doesn't exist anymore. The disruption is that tower moment. Things come down, something cataclysmic happened or exploded in your life and it's completely torn down to the foundational level. The foundation is still there. And what you get to build next is completely up to you. You do have the control and the power to create what you build next in this void stage in space. And this is typically after that disruption, you have had time to process and to heal from the crisis or the trauma or whatever it was that happened. And you've healed and you've come to this place of acceptance and hope and in this void space and a desire to move forward, to move on, even though you don't know what's next. And that's what swimming through the void is. Swimming in this unknown, swimming in the sea of infinite potential and possibility. And you don't have to do that alone. You have love and support. You can come back to this space, but that is my intention in this community that we're building here, because we're all going through these cycles. We're all going through these phases at any given time. So what we're going to do today, if you find yourself in this void phase, this void cycle, the liminality, you can, whenever you find yourself, whether you're in that now or you find yourself in that phase down the road, may you come back to this session and receive the love and the support from what we're going to craft and create in this space today together. And so what I figured we would do is allow ourselves to get out of the logical mind, get out of the head, and drop back into the body. And we're going to do that today by tapping into our creativity, our right brain, to allow the mind to have a break for a moment, because in the void there's so much head chatter. There's the asking why, maybe not even asking great questions, the desire to go back to something that no longer exists because there's fear of the unknown and fear of the unfamiliar of what's ahead. There's a sense of stuckness and frustration because you're just swimming in this void unsure of what's going to happen next or what your next steps are. And it's the most important time to actually realize this, to give yourself the support and what you need to be able to slow down and ground and be patient for your next steps and for the clarity to come. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to use this Zen Doodle adult coloring book and my colored pencils, and we're going to color, and we're going to be together and chat about this void space as we color, as we allow our mind to take a break. And you can choose to pause this session to go get something that you want to do during this time together. Do you want to draw or paint or journal? Or maybe you just want to breathe and sit with me, close your eyes. Maybe you want to read. Maybe you want to color. Maybe you want to sing or chant or dance. I will put some music for us as well when we begin. Or maybe you just want to sit or lay down and just be. So whatever it is that you want to do in this moment, I invite you to do that. So like I said, if you want to pause the session and go grab some supplies, or maybe grab a cup of tea, I invite you to do that. Now we're just going to talk about some elements in the chart that we want to bring awareness to during this void phase. What we can do to influence divine timing, what we can do while we wait, what we're cultivating during this time. It's so important. So we have our coloring book. There's a finished one in here. There's one that is almost finished. I'm wondering, should we start a new one? Let's see. Maybe I'll just flip through and you tell me when to stop. And then we'll see what one we get. How about that? Okay, ready? Stop. Okay. This is the one. This is the one. This is beautiful. It kind of gives us that spiral vibes, doesn't it? Kind of feels like that spiral, so this is perfect. Okay, this is the one we'll do. Now we have our colored pencils. So if you are an initiator or a time bender type, so that's the manifester or the manifesting generator, traditional human design. This void phase is really important for you to tap into your creativity, your internal nonverbal creative flow that you have. It's important to tap into that, to tap into what you're feeling, and that you are making sure that you're in the right environment that feels good to you during this time, especially if you have an open or undefined G. And if you are an empath, if you have an open or undefined emotional solar plexus, it's really important for you during this time to ask yourself, or to be aware of what you're experiencing, who you're experiencing. So if you have an open ESP, open emotional solar plexus center, an open or undefined G, even then the highly sensitives, if you have Gate 19 defined, are you following somebody else's story is a question. Are you taking in and experiencing somebody else's reality that's not yours? So let's see, which color should we pick first? This one. Okay. If you are aligned to, it's going to be really important for you during this phase to make sure that you're having enough alone time, enough time to integrate and align and process this cycle that you're in, this season that you're in. And if you're an alchemist type, you might feel extra frustrated during this cycle, but it's so important for you to be responding during this phase to your cycle response, that you're making sure you're saying yes to the things that feel good, right, and correct for you, and no to the things that don't. And this phase is an opportunity for the orchestrators and the calibrator types, or the projectors and reflectors, to check in on your emotional themes. So are you feeling bitter? Are you feeling disappointed? How is your energy? Because that's correlated to your energy resource, your energy bank. How's your energy? How's your vitality? Maybe you need to take this time to rest, recharge, resource, renourish, replenish yourself. Making sure that you are, especially if you're feeling burnt out, that you're not adding anything onto your plate or onto yourself, or making commitments that you don't have the energy for, out of just wanting to get out of this phase, wanting to get out of the void and move on to the next phase, which is that emergence. Making sure that you do have that energy. And if you're feeling super burned out and you're still restoring your energy, which takes time, it's a process, then you're not going to be able to go into that next phase of emergence, because the universe knows that you need rest, that you need to heal and restore and restock and replenish and renourish yourself and your energy bank. So it's not going to give you more or send you more until that's healed, and then you have the energy to then accept what it wants to bring in, or respond or say yes to what it's wanting to bring in, to step into that next phase and stage of the emergence out of the void. Okay, so do you have your supplies, or whatever it is that you wanted to get, or are you just making yourself comfortable and just being here together? Okay, are you ready? Okay. There's something that you also need to have during this phase, which is realism. Realism, being realistic about where you're at, giving yourself an honest assessment of what is going on, an honest assessment of maybe your energy, your resources, including money. Maybe your relationships, where you're at, where you live. Is there a plan that you need to make? Are there things that you need to put in place in order to support yourself better, that need to be done and completed before you can move on to the next phase? Are there things that need to be completed, finished? Are there still remnants of things from the disruption phase that you haven't handled or cleared out? We have to clear space. We have to clear space both in our physical environment and energetically in order to allow something new to come in. There needs to be completion. There needs to be an intentional space created in order for other things to come into your life. So our root center, our divine timing center, regulates time and timing. And so the things that you can do we can't control timing, but we can influence. We can get in alignment with timing, and we can help the universe help us by influencing that divine timing. And some of the things that you can do is, again, completing projects, bringing things to a completion, a conclusion, both on the material plane and maybe emotionally, energetically. You're going to look at, where things are working, where things are not working. Staying in a state of gratitude influences divine timing as well. So what are you grateful for? You may not be where you want to be, but what are you grateful for in your current situation? After having just come through this major disruption, things may not, have gone the way you wanted it to, or turned out the way that you wanted it to. But can you see the gifts and the blessings from it yet? What are you grateful for? What are the things that you're grateful for that you have in your life right now that you can focus on? One of my favorite quotes and lessons or teachings that I've ever received from Karen that just stuck with me the first time I heard it years ago was her saying, "You can't change a situation that you hate. So what are you grateful for in this situation? You cannot change a situation that you hate. So what are you grateful for in this situation?" That, for me, set me on a whole different trajectory to look at everything in my life with a new perspective. Because it's kind of hard sometimes to think of, I'm not grateful for anything in this situation. This sucks. I hate it, right? But hating on it and thinking that it sucks isn't going to change it. You aren't a vibrational match for something different if you're staying in that low frequency state of hate. So you have to look for something that you're grateful for. Shift your perspective, flip that script, and focus on the things that you are grateful for. Find something Gratitude is such a powerful energy that has the power to innovate and transform and change your circumstances. And it doesn't even need to be big things. It could be like, I'm grateful that I have toothpaste to brush my teeth today. I'm grateful that I have food to eat and I'm not starving. I'm grateful that I have a piece of technology that I'm participating in this session on. I'm grateful that the flowers are blooming. I'm grateful that the sun is shining today. I'm grateful for this favorite sweatshirt that I love that I have on. It doesn't have to be huge things. I'm grateful for this person in my life. Another important thing to remember in this phase is focusing on what it is that you're wanting to create and move towards in your next phase. Are there too many distractions happening? Because that can keep you in the void space longer. Are there too many distractions in your life that's taking your focus away from your goals, from your next steps? Are things too loud and too noisy up here? Which is why we are coloring right now together and listening to this beautiful music, because it's helping us to stop trying to find the answer and just surrender to the here and now and what is, and stay focused on what it is we're wanting to build without having this expectation of exact time and exact way, being open and being flexible to the freedom of how it's going to come to be, to how it's going to come to fruition, and the freedom to also surrender to that divine timing and trusting that the universe knows exactly what you need and when you actually need it. And so, do you have enough support? What you're cultivating during this time is faith. You are increasing your baseline frequency of faith. That's the gate 55 in the creative center. The gate 55. And you have this whether it's defined or open. And when you're in the void, that gate, that energy is what it is that you're cultivating. And maybe you need to increase your baseline frequency of faith. Maybe you need to assess your faith meter. Is it low? Is it high? Do you have someone in your life who can anchor you back into that frequency of faith when you have moments of frustration or fed upness of being in the void, of swimming in the void? Faith, that creative, every gate in our creative center is that creative energy that in which we create with. That is what is calibrating the electromagnetic resonance field of our heart, of our monopole, and that is what's determining what we're attracting into our lives. So the quality of that creative energy needs to be high and good. High frequency. Good meaning it's optimal expression. And then being able to hold that vision, envisioning, that's part of the time bender manifesting generator strategy. Helps to slow them down and not skip steps, is to envision. But all types can envision. See yourself, again, without putting the pressure and expectation of this has to happen now, this has to happen tomorrow. But holding that frequency of faith, how well, how long can you hold it? what else can you do to cultivate it, to support you in increasing it? Allowing yourself time for creativity, to play, to dance, to sing, to write, to journal, to breathe, to whatever it is that is your thing to do. Play an instrument that makes you feel like you're tapping into your creative essence. That's the key during the void, especially. And being intentional with your thoughts, with your intention. That's actually seeding the quantum field to potentially collapse those potentials and possibilities into your actual current reality. Faith is expecting a positive outcome for our greater good. Faith is just expecting a positive outcome. You exemplify or practice faith every day. Faith is a muscle. Every day that you have faith in your alarm clock to wake you up. You have faith that you're going to put your key in the ignition of your car and it's going to start. You have faith that the sun is going to rise. You have faith that when you flip your light switch, that your lights are going to turn on. You have faith every time you sit down in a chair or a couch that it's going to support you and hold you and you're not going to fall on the floor. Right? So you have faith about so many things that you just don't even think about. Like, think of all of the things that are operating and functioning in your body that you're not consciously aware of. Like all of the blood running through your veins and your heart pumping, everything working inside your body that is just carrying you through each day that you're not even consciously aware of that's happening. And you just have faith that it's going to keep going. It's going to keep working as it's intended. So why wouldn't we need to consciously cultivate faith if faith is a part of just everything that we get to experience and form. So of course it would be a part of the continuation of creation here. It's one of our creative drivers. So, like I said, faith is this muscle that needs to be worked out. It's like you would work out at a gym or to try to, strengthen your muscles or create muscle mass. Faith is a muscle and it needs to be strengthened and practiced with conscious intentionality. And once we do that, it innately just then becomes part of our transformational skill set. We increase our capacity. We increase our baseline of faith. And you know what? Other people going through the void, they need faith too. So if you're working on increasing your baseline frequency of faith, then you get to help others increase theirs. It's inspiring, it's empowering. And another thing that you can do to help you through this void space is focusing on getting your mind off of the space, getting your mind off of wanting to be out of it, again by doing these creative exercises, but also doing acts of service, maybe serving your community or helping somebody out, supporting somebody else. The saying, time flies when you're having fun. Maybe you need to go do something fun. When's the last time you did something fun? When's the last time you allowed yourself to play and be creative? I hope that you're doing this with me now. Or at least just allowing yourself to be present, allowing yourself to just be. You know, it's intentionally giving yourself this new perspective, like the hanged man in the tarot, right? Maybe you literally need to get upside down. Go hang off your bed. Go hang off your couch. Just look upside down. Let the blood flow in the other direction. And give yourself the opportunity to shift perspectives. Or be open to hearing a different perspective from someone that you love and trust. Know that it's temporary, that this phase and stage is so important. Do what you can do to plan. Once you receive the clarity of what you feel like you know what your next steps are, you can start making plans and progress towards that. Laying the foundation, setting the groundwork, setting the stage, getting things set up in that expectant energy of I am going to emerge from this void space into emergence, which is in between the void and expansion. You're going to emerge and expand and blast out into this next phase and stage. And it's like we all want to stay in that expansion state, or feeling the emergence from the void into that expansion, into that fullness, into that mountaintop experience. But each stage and phase has such an important, critical learning experience and growth opportunity for us that we cannot skip and we cannot avoid. We need to have this experience. It's what builds resiliency and builds our character. And it's what our soul is longing to learn. You are in the process of creating a new identity, a whole new level of life for yourself. And that takes time. Okay, how's it looking? This is what we have so far. Like you're maybe watercoloring. Someone's watercoloring. I think watercoloring is so beautiful. So we'll continue to work on our beautiful picture here, our Zen Doodle, and you can come back to this space anytime you are just feeling like you want some company, some love, support during the void. And if you feel like you need support in cultivating your baseline frequency of faith, I invite you to explore the Gate 55. Explore that energy, look it up in the Encyclopedia of Quantum Human Design, and repeat the affirmations there in the emergence phase, which we're going to do in our next session. That's really when the heat and the dial gets turned up on that faith driver. That's the most feeling of like the momentum and the intensity ramping up, because you're so close. You're on this cusp of flying off into expansion, that's really when you need to anchor in and hang on to your faith. So we'll talk about that in our next session. But before we close out this session, the potion lady actually sent us this potion that is this quantum essence that is specifically made, intended to, again, this works on your on an energetic level, on your auric bodies, your subtle bodies, helping your mental, emotional bodies come into coherence and alignment, supporting you on that energetic level. This is helping you to build a foundation for positive change. So perfect for this void liminality space. To use this every day while you're in the void. Consciously aware, I am building a new foundation. I am writing a new story. I am becoming the next level and version of my best and highest self. All of this has served a great purpose. I am cultivating patience and faith in the void. You will get to point B. This is temporary. So we're just going to smooth this in. We're going to roll it right in. And we are going to smooth this right in. I'm just going to put some on myself. And we're just going to roll this right in to each layer of your auric bodies. Smoothing this in, letting it permeate deep, 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 deep into every cell, every bit, every piece, every part, every center, every little nook and cranny at the core, into the deep, dark recesses. Just lovingly supporting you. It knows what it needs to do, where it needs to go. Trusting in the process, having faith, increasing your capacity to cultivate faith, increasing your baseline frequency, and just watching it, the meter go higher and higher and higher. Again, you are not alone. You are never alone. You have probably gone through so many void experiences in your life thus far. And here's another one. Remembering to keep a higher perspective of the point and the purpose of this phase. Allowing each time you go up the spiral or around the spiral, each time you get more and more of a resilience and a strength and oh, I know what phase I'm in. Oh, I recognize this. I know what I need to do for myself. I know what I need to give myself. I know the steps that I need to take. Again, assessing your energy, assessing maybe there's things that need to be cleaned and cleared and completed in order for you to get to the next phase. What questions are you asking? How are you seeding the quantum field? What are you grateful for? Remember, you cannot change a situation that you hate. So what are you grateful for? Focus on that gratitude. That gratitude will align you with divine timing. It has the power to transform. Your depth of faith is your creative driver. Okay, love. Let's pick our liminality void grounding stone. That's going to be your anchor and your reminder for your time through the void. serenity. Serenity, serenity, serenity. Which reminds me of surrender, right? Serenity, finding the serene peace, surrender, space during this void, this liminality phase. Finding ways to keep your peace, keep your calm, stay surrendered, stay in serenity, to understand that by doing so, you're actually working in harmony and in collaboration with divine timing. So let this be your reminder through this void stage. This is your reminder, this serenity Riverstone, to stay calm, to stay grounded, to stay present, to surrender to the process, to find your serenity, to let go, to tap into your faith frequency, to trust the process, to remember that this too is temporary and you have the love and the support. In this space, you don't need to do this alone. I hope understanding these phases, I know we still have 2 more to go through, but I hope understanding these phases brings you a little more peace and hope and the realization and awareness of what you do have power and control over. So you are all set, love, to either continue on with your day or sink into a deep, restful, restorative sleep to wake up tomorrow renewed, refreshed, and reknown. I look forward to our next session together, where we'll be focused on the phase of emergence, our phase 3 out of our 4 phases of the cycles of transformation. May you remember, you are loved, you are light, you are love. I know who you are in truth. I know what you are in truth. I know how you serve in truth. You are free, you are free, you are free. I am you. You are me, and we are one.